park is a happy park. Cycle.
All right, Jonah, what comes to mind when you think of Ben, and what's your favorite memory of Ben?
My favorite memory of Ben would be when we went to Chicago Dam Am, and it was like during the best trick contest, and we were just watching, because I mean all the skaters in Dam Am they're just so freaking amazing, and all I see in the crowd, like huge crowd, me, Dallas Payton, and I think it was Peyton's brother Cole. We were all sitting at the top, like on the fence, watching, like nation's best skateboarders, or like Mario McCoy, Henry Gartland, R.I.P. Just so many talented people. Frank Villani, Little Dre. We're all skating in this best trick contest, blowing blowing our minds. And then out of nowhere, like 5 minutes left, we just see Ben fucking bum rush out of like the big crowd at the top of the 8 stair, and try a boneless over it, and just completely like bruise his heel so bad. He's like and then just just wobbles off the course, and I was like, fuck yeah, that's Push Skateboards right there in a nutshell. It was sick.
Okay, and what comes to mind when you think of Ben?
Super like stand up front, nice person. He's done so much for me and so many other people in skating in Iowa, and he's very empathetic and caring, and patient. I mean, we've gone on a few skate trips together, and there's been dumb little homie fights, or like which spot are we gonna go to, or we want to go, just normal skate trip stuff, and he was like the rock.
So how I got started, or how all of it got started. I grew up in Fort Dodge, Iowa. I was either born in 1990 or 1989. There's a mix-up between the adoption papers, but if you ever want a free kid, just apply for adoption, get the kid, and then file for bankruptcy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what the parents got to do.
That's what happened with you?
Mm-hmm.
Holy man.
I was technically free.
Wow. So you don't even know what year you were born?
No, it was either 89 or 90, and then just because my birth papers in Korea say I was born in 89, but all my U.S. legal documents say I was born in 90. So I'm in the U.S., so it's 90.
How long you been skateboarding, and what got you into skateboarding?
I've probably been skating for, how old am I right now? 31? 17 years. What first got me into skateboarding, like how everybody gets started in skateboarding, you just like see somebody doing it, and it's like, oh, I want to try that. Like one of my neighbors had those like boards you could get from like Shields, like it's not like an actual brand, but like it's better than like a Walmart board. So I always just went over to his place and like, hey, can I ride your board? Can I ride your board? Whenever I'd see him ride it. And eventually I would just like, playing Tony Hawk games, stuff like that. And then it just evolved into like taking my mom down to our local skate shop, RCS, really cool shop. And just like building a complete for I think one of my birthday, and my birthday's in December, so just like the day right after, I like shoveled out like the driveway just to practice things. It was super fun. And then it's just been nonstop ever since.
All right, Adam. What comes to mind when you think of Ben, and what's your favorite memory of Ben?
I think skate video collector. You should see his collection. It's huge. Every time we go to some shop or something, he'll buy like whatever is there, like any sort of physical copy, and I love that. That's so sick. He's like single-handedly saving the skate video industry, and I think about the first time that we ever went to go film for the Push video. We were skating I call it Clifford the Big Red Rail out by the Nubo Market. And after that, we went over to the bar over there. I think it's called the Broken Spoke, some sort of bike bar. And we just started talking about like our influences in skateboarding and how we got started. And we both were like small town kids that skated with like nowhere practical to skate, and we kind of just bonded over that, and it turns out we both love Mike V, so that was great. Street plant. And we talked more about it, and he grew up in Fort Dodge, which is like in one of the Drive videos, which is a Mike V like documentary. He like stops at the Fort Dodge skate park, so I had to ask him if he knew about that, and he knew all about it. And ever since then, we've been doing weird bonelesses and stuff, and we've been good homies.
All right, so you grew up in Fort Dodge, Iowa, which is home to one of the worst skate parks in Iowa, if not America. How would you say that affected your skateboarding today?
I'd say it's still the home of one of the worst skate parks in America, if not in Iowa. How did it affect my skating? Like, well, we skated in the streets a lot, all the time. Every weekend, like during high school, I'd wake up, drive over to my friend's place, or he would come over to mine, start from the house, we'd just cruise. Like, start at 10 in the morning, like end at 10 at night. You'd get kicked out of spots. Like, everybody knew us by like the third week of summer anyway. Like, so that's just what happened. The roads are crusty in Fort Dodge, the park's crusty, everything's crust. You'd run through wheels so fast. And then what's the craziest part about it is there's still a skate community despite having all these like obstacles that would annoy everybody else. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a skate shop in this town of like 25,000 people, like, and still like selling decks, selling apparel. Like, they even had a little team together. Like, Darren Miller was sponsored by this team. Christian Cockrum was on the squad too. Oh, wow. Like, all these like really great skaters like from Iowa were there and sponsored by a great shop, but within the worst like area to skate. Like, and we didn't know how to bondo. We didn't know how to do any of that stuff to like fix these spots. So like all we just did is like pushed harder and like went faster.
After you got your AA, you left Fort Dodge.
Yep, left Fort Dodge. I took a trip over to Europe to skate for a while and just like hang out and look at the sights. And then I went down to Iowa City for my bachelor's, and going to a new place and like a new scene and all that stuff. I probably didn't talk to anyone at the park for like the first like 6 or 8 months. I just went there, skated street spots found them by myself too, because that's just what I was used to. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't know how like friendly people were or not, and I'm kind of a quiet guy at the parks anyway. So like I didn't like go up to like Leo or like any of these best skaters at the time there, or like even like Matt Pearson was a fucking solid skater. He still is. And then like Peyton was there, like Jonah, like all these dudes were just killing it. And I'm just like, holy fuck, like these guys are good. And like I've already seen like good skateboarders too, but I've just never seen so many people at that level in one location.
That can be intimidating if you're not one of the homies.
And then the whole shop down there was different too. Like I love Mitch and the full kit. He's given me a lot of good opportunities too, just to be held there. Like when I started Push, but I didn't know anybody, and like that shop there was totally different from the other shop I was at. Like that I was used to. I was used to like a mini ramp in the back. Everybody knew my name. Like it was super chill. Like people would just call me. So my nickname growing up was just Asian. There's not a lot of Asian people in Fort Dodge, Iowa. There's a lot of Bens, so that's just what you get called. And then when I thought that was normal, came to Iowa City. Apparently it's not. No. So introducing myself as that, people are just like, this guy's fucking weird. But Full Kit was totally different from RCS, just in terms of just, like what they carried, like how they operated things. Like it was very much like a more like legit business. Not saying RCS wasn't, but it was a lot of, they ran a tight ship, I believe. Mitch does. It's not until a few years after that I actually made it up to Eduskate, and I didn't even know Nate owned it. I just thought like, oh, it's just a skate shop up in CR. And then now that I've lived in CR for a while, the same thing happened too. I like didn't know too many people. Like luckily I started Push when I was in Iowa City, so people kind of knew me just through like Instagram and stuff, and would be like, oh, you're the Push guy. And I'm like, yeah. I don't even think I would tell them my name at the time too. That's just where I go. It's kind of hard breaking into new cities and new scenes. You just don't feel comfortable right away, even though skateboarding is such a inclusive culture.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about Ben? That's a hard one because a lot of things come to mind when I think about Ben. I think about skateboarding, obviously, concerts, road trips, jamming to going through the car wash while actually going through the car wash. But honestly, when I think about Ben, I think about one of the most driven, sincere, and spontaneous human beings that I have ever met. What is my favorite memory of Ben? Whew. I honestly can't pick a single memory. When I think about memories and I think about Ben, I really think about high school and Humboldt and skating. So growing up in the Fort Dodge area, there really weren't a lot of great places to go skating, especially places that involved vert, which is something that I was pretty fond of. So we would work all week, and every time that we'd get off work and our schedules would align, we'd rush on up to Humboldt with our buddies, and we would skate for hours and well into the night. Usually there'd be a game of skate involved, so I'd always try to go first so I could at least do a little bit of vert and get a letter or two before Ben kicked my butt. But also, I was really one of the only females kind of at the park at that time, and there were a couple of guys there that were pretty brutal towards me and kind of discouraging, and for a while I wanted to give up skating. It just wasn't worth the torment they were giving me. And Ben really helped encourage me, it helped me push past, and really helped me improve as a skateboarder, which was great because the day finally came where I could show them up, and they pretty much never gave me a hard time after that. And that's really thanks to the encouragement from Ben. He's a great dude. Miss you, man.
All right, Ben, so skateboarders like to collect things and memorabilia, skateboards, videos, that kind of thing. Anything you want to show off?
Yeah, we can just walk around the room here. So I got all these frames like after a few people passed, and I just inherit them. But what I decided to put in front of, like, instead of like crappy art, is just all these things that I picked up from the Transworld magazines from what I've had. So we have like TNT, Omar Salazar, Rodrigo TX, Day One. This came right here from when Heath Kirchard in America did the tour, like all across the West Coast, just on their motorcycles, which is dope. Some of my favorite ads from Girl. I think this is Mike Moe, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, prior to a knee injury. But they just had all these great sayings of make fun, not war. Like great little segments right here, just them all like going on. I think on this natural QP, and then happy accidents make you accidentally happy. A few bands that I've seen and like some art that I think is dope, like Gangstar. They have all the song titles within the
Oh
background.
wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I. There we go. Wow, that's cool.
Titus, I've seen them a few times live. They always change their band, but this guy is always up front. I think he's a little crazy. This one was a great show. It was a video premiere, and they were playing the whole score live during the show down in Kansas City. And the boys from Escapists like turned us on to there when we were there for a Push filming mission, and it was a great experience. This is an Andrew Lindenboom original. I finally got it framed up. I'll probably reissue that board at some point. This is Rob Art original too. Little Wu-Tang, Al Green, Mr. Soul, Beastie Boys obviously. You gotta put them in there. Another Day One. He's a big almost guy if you couldn't tell. I believe this is Ryan Gallant on the side doing a kickflip.
Front end.
Yeah. And then P-Rod, another Andrew Lindenboom original. All these are Andrews too. This is one of my times at Saylorville, that indoor park with some of the homies, Riley, Lars, and Sarah. I skated with them like since I started skating. It's great. One of the guys I look up to, Mike V, when he was on Element. Scheckler over here doing a gnarly kickflip over a gap. I am not very familiar with the skater, but the way that it was shot always impressed me. Just like a simple back tail down a hubba.
Okay, Lars, what comes to mind when you think of Ben, and what's your favorite memory of Ben?
Yeah, Ben is the type of guy that no matter if time and space come between you, he's always the type of friend that's got your back. You can always count on him. And my favorite memory of Ben would probably be the countless times we drove 20 miles north to the Humboldt skate park just to skate on their janky old metal half pipes.
Let's see, we have some more Andrew Lindenboom originals here. Black Rose, Push Skateboards graphic, another Push Skateboards graphic that got blew up, and then the first heel flip guy that I've ever, that was deemed the heel flip guy to me was Lindsey Robertson. Subsec video. Thanks, Josh Kelly. Thanks, everybody else. This was a groomsman gift from one of my buddies. We always had this idea of starting a skate park. His name's Lars, and my nickname was Asian at the time, so LA Skate Park just fit. This was back when I think I graduated high school. Instead of like those books or like people giving you cards or something, I just had them sign a board. And that was great. I have a few other buddies that like some of the Germans that I hosted through like online like exchanges and stuff like that. Just giving it a lot of moms and just really good friends.
Yeah, I actually did something exactly like that for my wedding.
Nice. And here we have some of the skate video collection. I mean, we got some new ones here, Doll, some like local videos around here. Big ones like Chicago City Watch is really good. Radio Silence, Made. Some Edge of Skate videos. Small Change is decent. Let's see, Oververt. It's funny, like all the skate videos that I listed that were my favorite, like I don't even own. I've just been on the hunt for them for forever. Let's see, another skate video from Edge of Skate, something from nothing, unopened, you know, collector edition. Ban this, also unopened. Like, I don't even know. Like, I should probably watch these skate videos at some point rather than just like collecting them. But every time I stop into a shop, I just look at their collection that I have and get whatever I can. Some of it's done by like really good people. Almost Round 3, signed by Greg Lutzka. Thanks, Greg, for doing that. Wet Dream.
Oh, I have that. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a solid one. This one I've always been meaning to watch. I saw it online and then I just picked it up, but like it's so like artsy, like even more than like a lot of other skate videos can be. Yeah, just some more like other local videos around. Let's see. We got
The best one right there.
Yeah, Grind. This does not hold up to PC culture, I'll tell you that right now. My girlfriend got this for me after I was like reminiscing about it. And then watching it again, I was like, oh, a lot of this stuff doesn't hold up. But thanks Sheckler for being in that, and Bam. Yeah, right. Baker 3 still unopened.
Wow.
You guys can come steal that from me if you want. Neighbors was super solid. This is the first video I ever saw someone do a laser flip down a set. It was gnarly. It's all skaters from Europe, and this was part of that, sponsored by like DC, things like that. I have a few of the I Dabble ones. They release them on DVD now, or like sorry, online now. But once you bought them, like you got a little card that was signed like, oh, thanks for supporting. Like this is the one issue out of like 300 that we actually made. I have a lot of other videos. They're just with some friends that may or may not be returned. I got these, the Mike Vallely covers and the Diego Buscieri covers from Look Back Library. That dude's super legit, very cool, awesome to talk to. Jamie Foy signed during the
Do tour.
during the Do Tour with Patrick Melcher too, even though Patrick Melcher is not in this at all. This is when Edge of Skate had the Zero guys sign in. Oh, I forgot Dylan was on the team at the time.
I noticed that. I was like, dude, you got Dylan John.
Yeah, Dane Berman, Frankie Villani, like a week before he left, Zero was on here. Yeah, and then I have a whole bunch of things that I still need to frame up that are just some of my favorite skaters, like, you know, Malto, when Super Future was about to come out. I don't know, it's so weird idolizing skaters now that I'm older, because it's like idolizing people who are a lot younger than you know? Like, just because of the skills they can do. Same thing with sports. So I've just kind of stopped. And one of the other memorabilias that I have, the girl demo at Skate South in Des Moines, Sean Malto, Eric Costin, Mike Moe, Alex Olson, Rick Howard. I was with a friend of mine who was it was a pretty heavy set, and it was the time when Rob and Big were pretty big. So I introduced myself as Bob Rearcheck, and my friend as the security, Wide White. And Rick Howard just got a fucking kick out of that and signed it up, what up, Wide White?
That's awesome. All right, Logan, what comes to mind when you think of Ben, and what's one of your favorite memories of Ben?
First thing that comes to mind when I think of Ben, I don't even know what you call it, but he does this like hand plant wall run thing, and then he does a finger flip in the middle of it, and it's like some old school Mike Vallely shit. It's like dope trick. It's the first thing I always think of when I think of him. And best memory with Ben has got to be the Push Skateboards premiere down at Thew Brewing. He was kind enough to let me be in the video with all of his riders, and got like the whole community together, and we put on a big old premiere. They gave him his own beer for the night or whatever. Yeah, that was just like a night I'll never forget.
Okay, so outside of skateboarding, what makes Ben Ben? What are your passions or hobbies that you like to do besides anything that has to do with skateboarding?
For sure. So I really enjoy playing soccer. I'm in 2 different leagues. One is a work league, and the other is a Sunday league. with my friends. So with soccer and skateboarding, I have to keep fit with that. So during the week, I will do little training regimens for strength building as well as like endurance stuff. The problem with all of that is if you get too many hobbies and try to train for all these hobbies, it reduces your skating time. So I've had to make some compromises, like how many times do I want to roll my ankle, or how many times do I want to hurt my knee, versus like how many times can I just try to prevent this from ever happening. Other than that, I am a dungeon master for 2 different groups for D&D, and then I just got back into playing Magic the Gathering. Kind of a big nerd for that, but I refuse to invest like any more funds than I have to because it's just cardboard crack. I enjoy reading, watching movies and docs. Just any learning capabilities I can get my hands on, I will probably do that. Oh, I just finished up a bike ride for a nonprofit too. So if you get the chance, do a Courage Ride. It's a great cause for sarcoma cancer research. And then I think that's what makes me tick.
I met Ben in my shop. He came in one day and he sat on our pool table. At the time, we had a pool table that had some kind of, some really shoddy work done on it, and I was worried the rails were going to cave in, so we couldn't do rail shots. He sat on the rails, and the first day I met him, I was like, dude, what the fuck you doing? And he looked at me like I was an asshole, and I felt bad, because I kind of was an asshole. And I was like, who's this guy sitting on my pool table? Everyone knows not to sit on the pool table. And anyway, I don't know, a couple weeks goes by, shows up in the parking lot, and me and Ryan Miller, a guy that was local here in Cedar Rapids, are skating in the parking lot. And Ben Peterson shows up, and we're just broing down, skating, flying. He's doing these insane 360 bonuses, like giant ones, no complies, like bonus finger flips, just like all this really unique, original, awesome, just like fabric of skateboarding you don't see anymore. And I was like, this guy's awesome. The pool table guy is rad. And I didn't know his name yet. I was like, that's the pool table guy, Ryan. And he's like, oh, the pool table guy's on the pool table. I was like, yeah, dude, he's dope. And anyway, then like time goes on. I run into him at the amphitheater, and I finally learned his name. I learned it's Ben Peterson. And he goes to school in Iowa, and he's like, becoming a badass, better in his life because he's gonna get a degree. Some time goes on. We're at the shop. It's the dead of winter, and he's like, dude, I'm gonna start a board company. And I was like, fuck yeah, you should do it. That'd be rad. Like, we need a board company in Iowa. That'd be sick. And next thing I know, fast forward to that summer, he brings me a whole trunk full of boards. And it was the first series of Push boards with just like the logo that said Push. It was like black with the white backdrop and like the little Iowa outline. And I was like, dude, I'm buying 10 of those right now. Those are sick. And then the next run he did, like, let's fast forward maybe, I don't know, a few months. Homeboy shows up with this #1 draft pick, still this day a big seller. Like, we could sell 100 of those right now if we had them on the wall. People still come and ask for them. He dropped this board. It was so dope. It had a windmill on it, and it had this crazy background of Iowa, just like this beautiful depiction of Iowa. Is the most Iowa as fuck graphic ever made in the history of mankind. To this day, I get dads, moms, kids, uncles, cousins, brothers, plumbers, roommates, all coming in for that board. It's like it was like, I swear, it's our #1 selling board. It was like outselling Nyjah boards, dude. It was insane. Like, literally, this board was such a good seller for us. Like, you couldn't even touch it. And anyway, so he did that, and then he built the company up. They made an amazing video. He sponsored such underground talents like Jonah Marcussen, Peyton Myers, and that Leo dude from Chicago that does really good backstep 360 ollies, and I don't remember his last name for the life of me. And then later on, he added Adam Miller to the squad. Just amazing. I mean, he really put Iowa on the map on a national scale, international scale. Right. So one of the things I love about Ben, other than like his prowess of skateboarding, his knowledge of skateboard history, and his knowledge of current skateboarding, is like his thumb on the nail of skateboarding. Not only does he know shit about skateboarding, but he's an amazing aficionado of music. You can talk to him about Herb Albert or Big L or anything in between those two. But also he kept the code of the streets alive by only selling to shops. Another thing I love about the guy is that, it's gonna sound repetitive, but is that he's extremely humble, and he has extremely thick skin. Like, if someone says, okay, we can't sell any 775s this week, and this graphic isn't moving his vlogs in the back, he doesn't take it personally. He realizes it just has to do with marketing business. He's the funnest guy to get a beer with, a great guy to skate with, good dude to film with. I've had so many fun times with him over the years in Iowa City and Cedar Rapids, just hanging out in his basement, skating the streets, bombing hills, bullshitting about skateboarding, going to bars, having beers. He's just a very unique soul for this state, and a a really underground hero. Motherfucker's still alive. It must be all that kimchi eats. I don't know. But like the dude's alive. He's doing well. Fucking loved you, Ben. You're the shit.
All right, Ben. So you said earlier you're known as the Push guy. So obviously you're the owner, founder of Push Skateboards. What made you want to start your own skate brand?
Yeah. So at the time when Push started, I was probably skating for 13 or 14 years. I was working at this position that was just in a cubicle all day, and I had a lot of time to kill, and they didn't supervise me very well. So once I, met the quota of the day, then I could, do whatever, whether it's like watch a soccer game on the computer or do other things with company materials. So I just started researching like, hey, like who presses boards? Like I have all these friends who are artists, like, and they could use another outlet. I have all these things I want to do with skateboarding, and I know, I'm never gonna go like am or pro and like travel the world with skateboarding. So I wanted to give back to what skateboarding's already given back to me. So I wanted to like be able to sponsor people who can't always like get the best gear all the time. I want to hold contests to incorporate all the community and like bring them together. I want to support the local shops now that everybody and their mom can like get the same stuff just online for slightly cheaper, with no actual like professional say. That's what I wanted to do for skateboarding and the community that like helped me through so much. Mm-hmm. No, I want people to go to the skate shops. I sell directly to skate shops because that's where the community is built. That's where it all happens. Like those local skate shops are putting on the contests. Those local skate shops are getting people sponsored. And all these small brands are doing the biggest things for communities. Like you don't see, like the last thing DC probably did, like is like build that like skate plaza in Ohio with Rob Deerdeck or whatever. And Vans, like they do this skate park series and stuff like that, but they're all part of that VF corporation anyway, which has even like strangled local shop owners too. So now like you have to buy so much product before you can carry Vans and Dickies. Same thing with Nike and Adidas. Like you have to meet these certain requirements, and it just strangles like what the shop can actually do. So why not help other skate brands like be the best and more profitable they can be, rather than these corporations that just saw all the money in skateboarding and come into it and just try and take everything from us.
Nate told me to ask you about the windmill deck. Apparently that was one of your best-selling decks.
Yeah, the windmill deck is still one of the best sellers. Usually, and this is for all artists that want to reach out to me. Like that's done by one of my friends, Maddie Thoma from Fort Dodge. She's an incredible artist. She runs, she's part owner in a print shop now in Fort Dodge called Optic Ink. If there are any other artists that want to reach out to me and do a board, we can talk terms. But that's the highest selling one. Like she did that one for free because she just wanted to like support what I was doing. She also, I'll show you. She printed off this giant banner, like because when I hosted the Iowa City, Iowa City contest, like we had to like do it along with stuff, but it's huge. It was really fun. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so big.
I know, it's huge. And she just gave this to me. And I was like, this is like, yeah, you always want friends in your corner.
So Luke, how would you say Ben has influenced you to expand your brand, No Safety?
Well, Ben gave me the idea that it was possible to make skateboards. Back at the time, we were just making t-shirts, but I saw Push Skateboards on Instagram and around the place skateboarding, and we thought like, well, this guy is making boards, like he found out a way to do it, so maybe we can do that too, and it was a big influence to me.
All right, Ben, let's do some top three.
Alright.
So what is your top three anime shows?
Anime shows, we're gonna go Black Lagoon, dubbed. If you watch the sub version, half the time they try to speak English but it's with heavy Japanese accents. So just go with the dubbed. Gonna go with. I've watched this one twice, and it's really good animation, great music, and how they did everything. It's a sports anime called Yuri on Ice.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's only like a 13 episode stuff, but it's it's so ridiculous why I would like this. I don't even figure skate or anything like that, but it's about a figure skater and just like regular like competition, like gotta reach to the top anime. And then stick to the classic Shippuden. Yeah. Got it.
Naruto?
Yeah, always Naruto.
Oh yeah.
Gotta be the top ninja. It's all about friendship.
All right. How about your top 3 beers?
Beers. This one is definitely in the top 3 by Thew Brewing out of Cedar Rapids. It's hot today. It's a limited release every year. They put like jalapenos and other hot peppers into the brewing process, which makes it a little spicy.
Wow.
I'm a sucker for this German beer called Franziskaner. It's a wheat beer, a Weiss beer, because of just all the time I spent over there. And then growing up in Fort Dodge, you just try to grab whatever beer you could for the weekend. And so Budweiser also sticks kind of close to my heart and arteries.
Nice. All right. How about your top 3 books?
Books. Well, I picked out 4. Cormac McCarthy, Child of God. I had to read this for a class at University of Iowa, but I delved deep into Cormac McCarthy afterward. He is like one of the best American fiction writers nowadays that I would say. Really great guy. They did a whole bunch of movies based on some of his books too. Like No Country for Old Men is one of them.
A lot of people know that one.
Yeah. Neil Gaiman, great fantasy writer. American Gods is solid. A lot of his stuff has also got picked up for like HBO, Stars, like series and things like that. Even BBC. The great Anthony Bourdain. I lent out most of my books for Anthony Bourdain, so this is the only one I have left. But that's what happens to books, just like skate videos. Yeah, R.I.P. Grew up in too many kitchens to not to read that. And bonus one, Wendell Berry, great poet about like environmentalism and just like recognizing what's like good to the earth. He's a little heavy on the Christianity, but you know, that's just his style. He's an older dude. It doesn't really vibe well with me, but like I understand what he's saying on the other end, that we need to protect the earth.
All right, how about top 3 bands?
Yeah, bands, musicians. It's hard to categorize them, but like the ones that I'll never skip over and the ones I'll always listen to are Rage Against the Machine. Let's see here, Run the Jewels. Fairly solid, and then the Beastie Boys.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any? Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably 3 is probably
it's kind of short,
not a big enough number. If,
yeah,
just, you can mention any other ones.
Front Bottoms I'll always listen to. Got to see them live. They played with Manchester Orchestra, which is an interesting combination. But I was really worried about the lead singer. Like he did like 6 shots in one show. Like when people like between songs, I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like you need to calm down. This is not like a sustainable way to like tour.
All right. What are your top 3 skateboarders?
Top 3 skateboarders, professional. Gonna go like all time. Obviously, got to put in the GOAT, Rodney Mullen. I tried to emulate that and didn't work out very well. So he's too amazing. Let's see. Fucking Brandon Westgate. He's solid. He has more pop than I've ever seen. It's from working in all those like cranberry bogs. And let's see. Nowadays, like up and coming skateboarders are like people that are getting like the limelight now. John Dillow is super solid. He has a really great style, and like he like goes at gaps and other obstacles like unlike any other people. Like, he'll do a bump to bar and land in nose manual for some reason. So you want top 3 skate vids? Top 3, not in any particular order. Pretty Sweet, Bag of Suck, and I just had it in my head too. Crap. It's This Is Skateboarding.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So I find it very interesting. Like, a lot of your videos that you've watched or your favorite ones are kind of traditional street skateboarding, but that's not how you skate at all. You have a very unique style of skateboarding. What inspired you to skate that way?
So,
or what got you starting to skate?
growing up, skating like with my friend we were both like kind of nerds, but we would go onto this forum, with like whatever dial-up internet that we had at the time, and it was called skateboardcity.com, and like it was just this message board where people would share their videos or like their personal clips, and they would have this section of just like all these other videos that people have uploaded onto the internet for folks to watch, like that they like, the bootleg videos, like I knew those were super popular. Like they had the 88 video on there too from that shoe company that lasted like maybe like 2 years, but they put out like a full length one on there. Like this is, in the heyday of pirating stuff, so why not pirate stuff, like pirate skate videos, when you don't know like the impact as a little kid watching skate vids and how that affects the industry. But I remember watching a lot of Almost videos, like the world industry stuff too, with Rodney Mullen. And then Elementality came out around that time, which had Mike Vallely doing a whole bunch of stuff. So I did a deep dive onto that. And, that's just kind of how I skate now. It's super fun.
What comes to mind when I think of Ben? Several things. Entrepreneur, intelligent, good friend, fun, all-around stand-up guy. Of course, skateboarder. Ben is a skateboarder to a T. He has such a unique style. So what would be my favorite memory of Ben? Well, it's kind of tough to say. There's a lot of good memories I have of Ben. Kind of grew up together. I was around 14 or 15 at the time when I met Ben. He must have been 16 or 17. And he had a car at the time, so I remember we would spend a lot of time going to other parks outside of town, just skating all the time, bumming around Fort Dodge. There was a pretty good music scene at the time in Fort Dodge, and I remember one time we had Ben come up on stage with the band I was playing with at the time and do a cover of Killing in the Name Of by Rage Against the Machine. So that was definitely a killer moment.
What was the first skate video you ever saw, and do you think it still has an impact on you today?
Yeah, so the first skate video I ever saw was probably a 411 video that shops would just give you for free. That still had like the commercials for like Quicksilver and like what was that brand by Circa, the C45 jeans and stuff like that. And that's the first time I saw Tommy Finn skate, who was like super pro, like from Australia now. That was actually Nate Sherwood was in that video, I believe, too. He had a good part, filmed by I think Chris Ray at the time. And obviously I'll see Nate like at least once or twice a week, just going down the shop or trying to go skate. And then, but the first actual like video like full on production, that's not just like a video zine, was Toy Machine Good and Evil.
Oh, wow.
I used to have a copy of that. I loaned it to friends, and obviously it just gets lost into moves and stuff like that. But that's when I saw like everybody just go big, go huge. Like Billy Marks, you saw it in the bathroom of the 360 flip lip down the rail. Diego Buscieri right here. He'll ollie over anything and everything. Owner of Cleaver Skateboards now, out of Argentina.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
He sells to those FTC shops, like for the city.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm sure he has several other like shops that he sells too. But he still has some of the best blunt sides I've ever seen. He's the fastest skater, like other than like Dennis Busenitz. Yeah, if anyone out there can find a photo book for Ed Templeton, please let me know. I will buy it from you.
All right, Dallas, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Ben, and what's one of your favorite memories of Ben?
The first thing that comes to mind is just how he made something from nothing or whatever, like how Push Skateboards is made. That was just how he, I don't know, when I see it, I see that he looked at it as that no one's really putting anybody on over in CR or Iowa City, and he thought, hell, if anything, I can make something out of it. And I'm just like, it's just I'm so stoked to see that and how everything's just unfolded, and I'm glad to be back and back riding for the man. It's made dreams come true, and best memory that I've ever had of him, probably just being out in Kansas City, just eating with everybody, just having a good meal. When he paid for all our meals in Denver, that was a good time. Just anytime we're out of Cedar Rapids and we're all together, the Push team's together, that's just a good time.
Okay, do you have a favorite memory that you have from skateboarding?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, skateboarding offers everyone so many remarkable memories, whether it's just like hanging out with your homies, like landing a trick, or like getting whatever you want in a specific spot after like hours and hours of battling it. One of those for me is like landing my first varial kickflip. I still do varial kickflips to this day because I like that trick a lot more than tray flips or like regular kickflips. I can't do regular kickflips. They're the bane of my existence. But that same friend that had the skateboard, and there was my neighbor, like once we started skating together a lot, and we were just trying to learn this trick like one after another, and it came down to varial kickflips, and we were out in his driveway like from like 8 o'clock to like 1 a.m. like just like waving at the garage lights, keeping them on, and like just trying to land a trick. Like our legs are noodles by this time, and like right around like 12:30 or like 1:45, like one of us lands. I think he landed it first. I'm like, fuck, I gotta get that now. And I like run and gun, just like keep on trying it like as best as I can. And then like finally like I landed it, and the lights just like shut off while it happens. And then like I'm so psyched. I'm like running around, I'm waving, the lights come back on. Like he didn't even realize that I landed it, and he just assumed that I did. But it was the best feeling in the world. Like after trying a trick for so long with like some of your best friends, and you just like, and you get it. It just locks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what's next for Ben Peterson?
Well, I need to make some dinner tonight. Take it day by day. But in the long run, I'll keep on doing push, keep on skating, and just keep on doing what I do.